Hello and welcome to SkedLIVE. I'm your host, Noel Fortner. We begin today with new developments in the Germanwings plane crash. France's public prosecutor says the co-pilot of the flight deliberately downed the plane, killing everybody on board. Andreas Lubitz of Germany was left in control of the Airbus and refused to reopen the cockpit door after the captain left. French officials say Lubitz operated a control that sent the plane into its final descent. Now, preliminary information about Lubitz has begun to surface, and officials know he's 28 years old, from Montabaur, Germany, and has accumulated 630 flight hours. He began flying with Germanwings in September of 2013 and attended Lufthansa flight school, training out of Germany and the United States. Officials could not confirm whether it was Lubitz's first job as a pilot or if he had any other previous flying experience. Family members of those killed in the crash have been coming to the site by the hundreds to pay their respect. The majority of victims were from Germany and Spain. However, there are also 12 other countries with passengers on board. Lufthansa, the parent company of Germanwings, has arranged 2 special flights for family and friends of the victims to visit the site. Some relatives who did not want to fly are traveling by bus from Barcelona. And now let's go to the weather with Coco Zhang.
Thank you, Noel. Hi, I'm Coco Zhang with the weather report. It's a rainy Thursday. Today we reach a high of 4 and a low of -3. People have mixed reactions to the spring weather. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
I can't believe it. It's really been a hard winter, and I look forward to riding my bike a lot this summer.
I think it's a nice day outside. There's no blue sky, but it does have a nice breeze. It's warm, so I think it's overall a pretty good day. Oh, it's not that cold. I'm getting used to the springtime weather.
No, not spring weather, because the humidity, no sunshine and no windy, very quiet weather. I go grocery shopping for Easter come, a couple of weeks Easter come, so I make shopping. I'm looking for my daughter, they come from Vancouver, and I want to see her to make Easter with me and father. A couple of weeks Easter, we make a feast, you know, we go to church.
Here's what the week ahead looks like. Spring is here, but there's a 40% chance we could be getting flurries. Tomorrow, we're expecting a high of 1 and a low of -10. Good news for Saturday. The sun will be out with a high of 0 and a low of -7. Closing off your weekend on Sunday, temperatures will reach a high of 4 and a low of 0. The beginning of the week on Monday could be a wet one with a 40% chance of flurries and rain. We'll also reach a high of 5 and a low of -4. Things dry up for Tuesday with a mix of sun and cloud. We're expecting a high of 4 and a low of -3. That's for your weather forecast. I'm Coco Zhang, back to the studio.
Saudi Arabia and other Arab allies have begun airstrikes in Yemen. Warplanes struck Shiite Muslim rebels who have been fighting to oust Yemen's president. Iran has denounced the assaults against the militant group and said the deployment of a Sunni coalition against Shiite enemies would complicate efforts to end conflicts around the Middle East. Canada's NDP are getting ready to propose amendments to the new anti-terror bill C-51. The amendments would boost oversight power and do more to combat radicalization. The motion stands in the name of NDP House Leader Peter Julian and is expected to be debated in the House as early as today. 1 person is dead and dozens others injured after a tornado ripped through the suburbs of Oklahoma City. Another tornado struck the suburbs of Sand Springs, damaging as many as 60 buildings. The sheriff's office says rescue efforts have been hampered by heavy rain, wind, and lightning. Now let's go to Marissa Rolls for the entertainment news.
One Direction fans are distraught because of singer Zayn Malik's announcement he is leaving the band. Malik apologized to fans for his decision. He said in a statement on One Direction's Facebook page, "I am leaving because I want to be a normal 22-year-old who is able to relax and have some private time out of the spotlight." Malik made an earlier decision to drop out of the group's Asian tour due to personal issues. Fans took to social media to share their loss. His name is still trending worldwide. It may come as a surprise to 50 Shades of Grey fans that the director Sam Taylor Johnson is leaving the franchise. The film is Universal's highest-grossing R-rated film. However, Sam's decision to leave was reportedly due to conflicts with E.L. James, the novel's author. On a lighter note, The X-Files is coming back. Fox will air a 6-episode limited series. It will star its original series cast members, David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson. The last episode ever was filmed 13 years ago. The show has won 16 Emmy Awards and was nominated 62 times over the course of its 9 seasons. If you're an action fan, you'll be excited to hear George Miller's Mad Max is back. Tom Hardy will play Mel Gibson's character, the road warrior Mad Max. Set in Australia's outback, post-apocalyptic biker gangs must fight for control of gas and water. Max teams up with Imperator Furiosa, played by Charlize Theron. The movie will premiere May 14th at the Cannes Film Festival in France. And finally, festival season is upon us. Summer is the time when some of the world's top artists come to Toronto. Earlier this year, the organizers of the world-renowned Bonnaroo Music Fest announced they are bringing a similar festival to Toronto. Way Home Music and Arts Festival features a 3-day event in Canada's largest city. This is their first event in Canada where fans are able to camp on site. Headlines include Sam Smith, Kendrick Lamar, and Alt J. Can't wait for that. If you can't make it, these acts and more will be back later in Montreal. Osheaga Music and Arts Festival has now released its full lineup. More than 100 artists will take the stage during Montreal's 3-day festival. This is the festival's 10th anniversary and will take place July 31st to August 2nd. That's your entertainment news for today. I'm Marissa Rolls. Back to you, Noel.
Thanks, Marissa. Switching to local news, former Mayor Rob Ford is set to undergo surgery in early May to remove a cancerous tumor. The date is tentative as doctors need to perform a CAT scan and an MRI to make sure the tumor has shrunk enough to be operated upon. Ford has been undergoing chemotherapy and radiation since his diagnosis last September and has previously said his chances of survival are 50-50. The Ontario government is set to introduce a new plan to give low-income households hydro rebates. Ontario Energy Minister Bob Chiarelli announced the initiative, which is a follow-up to a promise made by the Liberal government last April. Sources close to the program say there could be indiscrepancies in the rebates, as it depends on factors such as household income and family size. And the makers of Heinz ketchup and Kraft cheese announced Wednesday that they will be teaming up. This is a move backed by U.S. billionaire Warren Buffett and the Brazilian investment firm that owns Tim Hortons. The merger will create the 3rd largest food and beverage company in North America. However, there are fears of a plant closure and job losses as new owners seek to cut costs. And now let's go to sports with Nathan McLeod.
Thanks, Noel.
Is this live?
Canada's Megan Dumal and Eric Radford won the gold today at the World Figure Skating Championships in Shanghai. This is the first world title for the duo, although they have taken gold in every event that they have entered as a pair. It is also Canada's first victory in the pairs event since 2001. SkedLIVE's Chelsea Shear talked to another Canadian figure skating duo before they headed over to China. That story is on skedline.com. The Dallas Stars' Tyler Seguin had the deciding goal in a shootout against the Calgary Flames last night. His was the only goal in the shootout, edging the Stars to a 4-3 victory over the Flames. A couple of stupid early penalties for Calgary kept the Flames from doing any real work in the first period. Dallas scored 3 times in the second, and Calgary responded with 2 of their own. The Flames would rally to tie it up in the third, but could not find the back of the net in the shootout. They are still 3rd in the Pacific Division. And Alberta's other team fared better last night, although they probably made it harder for themselves than they had to. The Edmonton Oilers almost blew an early 3-0 lead over the Colorado Avalanche, but managed to hang on for a 4-3 win. The Oilers were up by 3 halfway through the first period, with goals from Marinson, Eberle, and Hall. The Avs pulled goalie Semyon Varlamov shortly after that, and that seemed to change the tide for a while. Colorado came back to tie it at 3 before the Oilers clinched the game in a power play. Casey Bailey will most likely make his NHL debut tonight. The 23-year-old Penn State student played his final college hockey game just last Thursday and signed with the Leafs on Sunday. It's looking like he will take the ice at the Air Canada Centre tonight against the Florida Panthers. Apparently, it was a phone call from Leafs president Brendan Shanahan that was the deciding factor for Bailey to sign with Toronto. Bailey said of the call with Shanahan, "I really think he's going to give me the chance to develop and get better here," adding, "I am not an NHL star by any means. I think I want to hone my game and get better while I am up here." The Raptors lost another game to the Bulls at home last night. Toronto could not get it done in the fourth when Chicago rallied with some help from the bench, burying the home team 116-103. The Raptors led going into the final quarter, helped out by 20 points from DeMar DeRozan, but then ran out of gas, allowing the Bulls to score 39 points. Despite clinching the playoff spot, some fans are hitting the panic button for the Raps this season. For a breakdown of the state of the Raptors, here's SkedLine's Tim Paul.
What is going on with these Raptors these days? I mean, it seems lately that Raps Nation has been replaced by Leafs Nation. The Raptors started out so strong. They were 24-9 at the beginning of January. The We the North campaign was rocking. It actually turned into We the Fourth because they were one of the best fourth quarter teams in all of basketball. Since that time, though, it's gone from nothing but net to nothing but air. They've been 16-21 in the last 2 months, and they're one of the worst teams in defensive efficiency. I mean, seriously, these guys are getting torched left and right. It doesn't matter if it's Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, or Alexei Shved. They're just tearing through our guards. They're getting in the paint, and when they're getting in the paint, then three-pointers are getting open shots, or they're going all the way to the hoop. Casey's supposed to be a defensive coach, but honestly, I have to ask, what is with these lineup rotations? It's so confusing. James Johnson is your best defender, and sometimes he doesn't play without any explanation for multiple games. If the other team's player is hot, you got to put James Johnson on them, get a body on him. He's going to make things happen. Terrence Ross, the whole team really needs to step up defensively. These guys aren't known for their defensive presence, and they don't really have a shot blocker in the paint. So if things don't change, things aren't going to be very well. I mean, the expectations for this team at the beginning of the year was conference finals or bust. Now it's looking like they won't even make it out of the first round. They do have a favorable matchup, though, possibly with the Washington Wizards, who they've beat 3 times this year. That is the lone bright spot for this team, but it is looking really dark right now. Hopefully the Raps can pull it together. Otherwise, in the offseason, Kyle, DeMar, Lou, JV, they might all be extinct. They might have to blow this up. But that's all I got to say for now. Back to you, Nathan, to finish out the sports.
Thanks for that, Tim. Sweet 16 kicks off tonight with 4 big games. UCLA and North Carolina State are the 2 biggest surprises going into this round of the NCAA tournament, which features 14 other strong teams from power conferences. Tonight, Wichita State takes on Notre Dame, UNC goes up against Wisconsin, and Xavier battles Arizona. University of Kentucky's Wildcats, the still undefeated tournament favorites, will also play the 5th-seeded West Virginia Mountaineers. Australia beat India by 95 runs in the Cricket World Cup semi-finals. Aussie Steve Smith became the 5th ever player to score a century in a World Cup semi-final game and led his team to the highest score in a semi-victory. The 4-time champions secured their spot in the finals, where they will face tournament co-hosts, the undefeated New Zealand team, at the Melbourne Cricket Ground on Sunday. The Blue Jays were back in winning form on Wednesday, taking their 4th win in 5 tries against the Orioles. Jays lefty Daniel Norris allowed only 1 run in 6 innings, giving up 3 hits and striking out 7. Kevin Pillar also returned to Toronto's lineup with a bang, knocking out a 2-run homer. Pillar was back from a 10-day absence caused by an oblique strain sustained while sneezing. And Serena Williams starred in a homemade version of a Beyoncé video this week, and the results were pretty great. The tennis star, who is also the cover of this April's edition of Vogue magazine, channeled her inner Bey in the video, showcasing her tennis skills as well as her twerking skills. As the top-ranked player in the world, Williams is hoping to be fit enough to play at the Miami Open tomorrow night. The defending champ withdrew from the Indian Wells semifinal with a knee injury less than a week ago. Williams has won the Miami Open a record 7 times. That's all for sports. I'm Nathan McLeod. Now back to you, Noel.
Thanks, Nathan. That's it for us at SkedLine. I'm Noel Fortner signing off.